Welcome to Supply Chain Tech Insights Monthly. Hello, I'm Randy McClure, your tech advisor and an independent voice in the supply chain industry. Join me as I share this month's crucial insights and practical solutions tailored for supply chain executives addressing the most pressing tech challenge we face today. Latest topics include decision systems, AI impact on business decisions, supply chain glossaries to unlock interoperability, digital identity in logistics, e-commerce advice to reduce click-to delivery, and lastly, semantic interoperability to make your supply chain seamless. So let's unpack these essential topics to drive you forward toward a seamless supply chain. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? I mean, we live in this hyper-connected world, but the systems that actually move all our stuff can feel like they're stuck in the dark ages. How many of you have spent hours, literally hours, on the phone just trying to track down a critical shipment? It's a question that keeps executives up at night and drives customers nuts. And it all boils down to this one deep systemic disconnect. And look, this disconnect, it's not some abstract business school concept. It explodes into our daily lives and operations. We're talking about late deliveries, being suddenly out of stock on something crucial, getting the wrong orders, and the faulty tracking info and that constant draining chorus of where is my stuff calls. These are not isolated oopsies. They're symptoms of a much bigger disease, a fundamental failure to communicate. All right, so to fix this, we've got to play detective for a minute. We need to diagnose the real problem, and all the clues, they're hidden in the data. So let's put on our investigator hats and really unpack the root causes behind all this friction. And when you start digging, the source of the problem becomes painfully obvious. What you're looking at here is a massive gap between the tools people are using and what they actually need. On the left, you've got these huge, multi billion dollar operations being run on Excel spreadsheets and siloed reports, where data is basically an afterthought. But on the right, that's what leaders need right now: on demand, real time insights, the agility to pivot in crazy markets, and recommendations you can actually use. The old tools, they just can't do it. This quote from George Bernard Shaw, man, it just hits the nail on the head. We think our systems are talking to each other just because we're sending files back and forth, but real true understanding, it's often not happening at all. And that illusion is costing companies a fortune. And here's the technical side of that illusion. Welcome to what I call the data integration nightmare. Your most valuable data is trapped. It's locked away in different applications behind these fragile custom built walls. And even worse, different teams are using totally different definitions for the same words. It's like the logistics team is speaking Spanish and the finance team is speaking Mandarin, but they're both trying to use the word shipment. The data gets sent, sure, but the meaning is completely lost in translation. So the solution isn't just about moving data faster, it's about making sure everyone understands it perfectly. And there's a term for this: semantic interoperability. The easiest way to think about it is like the universal translator from science fiction. It doesn't just swap words, it makes sure the full context, the nuance, and the original meaning are all preserved. It's the only way to make sure that what is sent is truly what is understood. Okay, this is where things get really, really exciting because all these problems we've been talking about, they're not some permanent, unsolvable challenge. We are standing right on the verge of an AI powered breakthrough that is going to completely rewrite the rules for supply chains. This new way forward, it's built on three pillars that all support each other. First, you've got AI-powered intelligence to make sense of all the chaos. Then you have that seamless interoperability we just talked about, which lets that intelligence flow freely everywhere. And finally, holding the whole thing together is a foundation of digital trust. You see, you can't have intelligence without clean data, and you can't have clean, flowing data without trust. Now let's zoom in on that AI pillar. This is not about replacing people, it's about creating an incredible partnership. Just look at this. Let humans do what we do best, strategy, creativity, real out of the box problem solving. And let AI handle the stuff our brains just aren't built for, like processing insane amounts of data 24/7. It's all about augmenting our abilities, not automating our jobs away. But, and this is a big but, AI is not a magic wand. It has some serious weaknesses that we have to manage. For instance, AI can sometimes be what I like to call a confident idiot. It can state something completely wrong with total certainty. They call these hallucinations. And that is exactly why human oversight, our intuition, and our common sense are actually more important than ever. So let's talk about that third pillar, digital trust. How do you actually build it? Well, it starts with something called digital identity. This is basically a verified online presence for every single actor in your network. And that verification, it comes from a trust anchor. A trust anchor is kind of like a digital passport office. It's the central authority that stamps its approval and says, yep, this person, this company, or even this robot is exactly who they claim to be. And what's really wild here is who or what needs an identity in this new world. We are not just talking about people anymore. We're talking about giving a verifiable, trusted identity to the AI making decisions, to the smart contract that's executing a payment, and even to the physical shipping container itself through a sensor. Every single node in the network becomes a trusted participant. It's a huge shift in thinking. Okay, theory is great, but how do we actually do this stuff? Let's get practical. It's time to lay out a real strategic roadmap for making this transformation happen in your own organization. Here are the four big steps, but I really want to zoom in on that first point. The technology is actually the easier part here. The real challenge and the biggest opportunity is changing the mindset inside the organization to truly treat data as your most valuable strategic asset. That cultural shift, that's the foundation for everything else. And if you need a little motivation to kickstart that shift, just look at this number: 25%. According to one survey, a quarter of all IT time is wasted on flawed data integration projects. Just think about that for a second. A quarter of your highly skilled, highly paid tech team's time is basically being thrown away on fixing problems that shouldn't even exist. Imagine what you could build with all that time back. So, all of this brings us to the final and, I think, most important question. Let's paint a quick picture of what the future of operations actually looks like for the companies that get this right. This slide really says it all. You're moving from a world of constantly putting out fires to one of proactive AI driven decisions. So, for example, instead of scrambling when a storm closes a port, the AI has already analyzed weather patterns, shipping lanes, and inventory levels, and has recommended three optimal rerouting options before your phone even starts ringing. And what's really important here is that this future isn't just about efficiency. It's about creating a better, less stressful, and more innovative place for the actual people who make these supply chains run. So, the ultimate takeaway is this: your data has a story to tell. It holds the keys to building a smarter, faster, and more resilient supply chain. The technology is finally here. The roadmap is clear. The only question left is, are you ready to listen? Hello, this is Raina McClure from SC Tech Insights. Thank you for listening. For more on this topic, click the article link below or go to www.sctechinsights.com for the latest insights on supply chain technology. Thank you and see you next time.